Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be going over another fresh list of characters that are going to be getting the Awakening treatment. This is characters that are going to be awakened in the future. There is no info on what order these characters are going to be released in, but these are the next batch of characters. Of course, we have just had Glenn get released and his event will last for 4 weeks. But generally speaking, in 2 weeks, a brand new character should be released. And hopefully they'll all follow the new format for the roadmaps that the Glenn one has, where it only has 6. So far, I will say this has been a very positive change for me personally, as I've already completed 30% of the weekly roadmap, and it didn't really feel like I did too much. This feels much nicer than the 10 act one. So yeah, big thumbs up there. Fingers crossed it's going to be like that for the upcoming characters. And in no particular order, but the first of the characters we're going to look at is going to be Lily. This character was way ahead in the votes on the public voting on the Discord, on my posts on my YouTube channel. She got loads of votes when it comes to community wanting this character to get the Awakened treatment. And I am pretty happy with this. She is, of course, a Telltale character, so it's great. But she never really had her time in the sun, I don't think, because she was released just after Peacekeeper was, and Peacekeeper pretty much countered her. But now with Maggie leader, Lily can be very good, but she definitely needs a bit of a boost. Her stats will no doubt get boosted. Maybe her attack could go up to 40,000 plus. We'll have to wait and see. And then if we look at her Adrenaline Rush, she probably will hit for more in terms of the individual hits, maybe going up to like 350%, something like that. And then if we look at the signature move, this one's the big one. I think this could go to a turn 1 normalize, and that would actually be pretty amazing. Just looking at her passives, she'll probably have a bit of a boost here as well. But there's not much maybe that she could do. Maybe adding a second resistance to Telltale teammates, that could actually be pretty interesting. Weapons equipped to this fighter could be more likely to trigger. That means things like double attack, anything like that in the slots that have 60% to trigger. And then in the last slot, before performing a critical hit, 100% chance this fighter gets a Guardian Shield. I'm not sure how they could improve this, but it'll be interesting if they do. They're not necessarily always going to improve everything, but that one's quite interesting. Now, she has actually got a pretty good base weapon, and they probably will improve this maybe by 5% attack, so you can get it to 55%, and then making it probably the better version of double attack. That's the only way they could really improve this weapon, and I think it would be really good if they did that. 60% chance base on the weapon, plus the added percentage chance on her passives, would suddenly make double attack actually good. Double attack is not very good, generally speaking, just because it doesn't proc very often, but she'll have 80% plus in that case, and it's almost always going to go off. The Raging Rampage, again, I think that's just going to stay there. I don't think they're going to improve that, but that is already a pretty top tier upgrade. And you can rush her off turn 1 with Maggie lead and just let's see what happens, basically. The only thing you've got to make sure you do is deal with the Outlast before they get taken out by Lily. But this was basically the community choice, and I think most people will be happy with this one. It is a damage dealer. If you have a Limit Break 3 maxed out, you'll be absolutely fine now. It is also worth noting that Lily actually has Waste Not version 1, and it'll be interesting to see if she gets Waste Not 2, which would obviously be much more problematic for a defense team if she's doing more excess damage to adjacent enemies. That would be very interesting to see as well. The next character is going to be Gold Mythic Hershel, and keeping with the trend of using a progression mission fighter, Hershel is going to be in the mix. And he was terrible upon release, so it's going to be very interesting to see what they can do with him. His stat balance is pretty much just completely bland. He wasn't really an attack character or a defense team character. He definitely needs some stuff tacked onto his kit. You know, he does some healing, but it's just, I think he's mainly an attack team character. I think he needs to do just extra stuff here. Definitely needs an increase in the heal. Like 30% for 4 turns would probably be better. Maybe even higher, honestly. Maybe something else, maybe another cleanse, maybe more people get cleansed from stun, I don't know. And then in the next one with the signature move, this was so bad. Initial cooldown of turn 4 was so bad, but heals 4 teammates by 20% of their max HP. I think if this was maybe off of turn 1, and you could put some bonus HP in there as well. Or maybe like an attack buff, like one damage roll character gets like a percentage damage increase or something like that. Just something that where he's actually doing something in the side of the fight that he's meant to be on. If he's meant to be an attack character, make him, you know, be good for attack. But yeah, this definitely needs some tweaking. I don't think just a straight up heal is going to be good enough, honestly. But when we go to his passives, they seem way more defense team based. Job satisfaction. When this fighter starts their turn, 100% chance this fighter gets 10% defense for 1 turn for each fighter on the team with the heal over time status. When killed, heal all teammates by 20% of their max HP, and all teammates get 20% bonus HP. And he has heal reduction resistance as well. These seem much more defense team based. His stats will have to massively reflect that. It will have to go to very, very heavy HP and defense to reflect that. If they stay balanced as they are right now, then basically it's not going to be the case. Now, he has not got an attached weapon, and I don't think they will just put an attached weapon on him. He most likely won't have an attached weapon. I don't actually think we got Hershel's rifle as a standalone release. That is actually kind of interesting. But whether we get any other improvements, it's soon to say. I don't think they'll change out Neutralize, but this is why I think he's more of an attack team character. This is much nicer on attack than it is on defense. I think like the rush and signature move and the specialist skills seem to be more like decent for attack teams. Although heals are just good in general, but like stun cleanses are good for attack teams. But the passes are definitely for defense teams. So it needs to go one way or the other, and it needs to commit and obviously make additions, because this kit is weak. The kit is weak, and definitely needs to go to a turn 1 cooldown on that signature move for sure. Turn 4 initial cooldown. I think when I originally checked out this character when he was released, it was terrible upon like when you first got him, you know, completely maxed out, and in none of the upgrades in his limit breaks did he actually get that much better. So, but it's going to require a lot of work here to get Hershel like in any way usable. I feel we'll have to see what Scopely managed to pull out of the hat, and I don't think it's going to be a rabbit, because as you can see, Hershel's got quite a few rabbits already tied on his waist. Now, the third and final sneak peek upcoming Awakened character is going to be Gold Mythic Ezekiel. This was the first ever premium release in RTS Mythic era, and he is actually pretty decent even now, but he would obviously need a bit of tweaks to the stats because they're a bit too balanced. He'd have to be more defensive. That attack's going to have to go way down to like 10 to 12k, and the defense and HP are going to have to go up to 35k plus, you know? That's what's going to happen with the stats. He's definitely a defense team character. His Adrenaline Rush was nice. I can see it maybe affecting more teammates. Maybe the entire team gets a defense buff for 1 turn, or maybe even 2-turn buff, and the defense is boosted, so it'd be like 3 teammates get 600% defense for 2 turns. Defense buffs aren't as powerful as they used to be. Ransack is very, very prominent right now. A lot of people use it. They've been giving it away in you know, actual weapons in the league store and so on and so forth. And it is almost a requirement when you're attacking these days. So these buffs can get stolen away. This fighter gets bonus HP equal to his missing HP is nice, and I think probably he could maybe give bonus HP to teammates as well. But maybe he just gets a pure percentage of actual bonus HP rather than just like the missing HP, because he could potentially just get no bonus HP there though. So yeah, and then when we went to the signature move, this will probably go to turn 1. Guardian Shields turn 1 would be nice. We do have Krista, who just got released, and she does Guardian Shields to the entire team. I think she gets one herself too. This fighter gets percentage bonus HP. We'll probably just see that get increased. I would say just give him 100% bonus HP. Just make him absolutely tanked out straight away. Maybe give him a defense buff, and make the Guardian Shields go off turn 1. I think 2 Guardian Shields is still quite powerful, but if that got increased, maybe just to 3, again, I could see that being pretty useful. The number of uses hopefully will go to 999, because when you do autofill and you will get this character in Survival Road, you actually don't mind this going off too much, because against like walkers, it's actually pretty decent. But it's not great if it only happens 4 times, and you know, you can kind of use him to counter reflect walkers and so on and so forth, so it's not too bad. When it comes to his passives, they weren't too bad. I don't think the stats mod increase was nice, so he's going to get big stats. That'll probably get increased to maybe 35 or 40%. When his fighter starts their turn, enemies with a damage roll get minus 15% attack for 1 turn. This could get boosted quite nicely up to like, honestly, like 40% plus, I think would be a good one. I think if you compare it to like Rosie does, I think, a 75% attack down when someone gets focus. So that could be a nice little counter there. Obviously, someone like Sophia bypasses this, so there are already ways through this. And then the last one is pair up. When this fighter starts their turn, 100% chance this fighter and a teammate get pain split for 1 turn. This is interesting. I'm not sure how they're going to boost this either. They probably will have to do something along the lines of a buff. Maybe both of the, him and the teammate get defense buff. I don't know how they're going to boost that one because there's not much they really can do there. Unless it lasts for 2 turns, but then if it's the beginning of every turn, it doesn't really make any difference. We'll have to wait and see. Then he's got a leader skill. This is going to be interesting because they did boost the leader skill of... who was it? They boosted the leader skill of Negan. They boosted the leader skill of Glenn. So I can see this going up to 40% defense without too much of a problem, at least. Maybe a little bit higher, which is actually kind of good. We don't have too many defense leaders right now. We have a lot of HP leaders, and that could be nice for certain characters that could have potentially awakenings in the future. For instance, Sawyer was a decent character, but he didn't have any defense lead to really be behind. There are a couple of characters that potentially could get awakened in the future and suddenly team up with Ezekiel and be really good. The defense down block for 4 turns I think is going to be probably powerful enough. If anything, I could see that getting reduced. I'd be happy with that going down to 3 turns because 4 turns was kind of crazy. What else they could increase here, I don't know. Maybe just 40%, 45% defense should be fine. Now the weapon was bad. So what's the weapon going to be like? Any ideas, any guesses? This is where it could get really special on the weapon because we've got a really nice weapon on Glenn. We've had a nice weapon on, honestly, a lot of the characters. So this could be the thing that really changes things for the character. I only see really minor boosts on the rest of the kit because his kit even now is still pretty decent. He just needs better stats and just, things going off turn 1. But the weapon, this is where it could be really, really cool. And if you have any guesses or wishes when it comes to the weapon, let me know in the comments down below on that. So that's it for the next 3 upcoming Awakened characters. Which one of those 3 are you most happy to see? I think it's probably going to be between 2 characters for the majority of people, with Lily and Ezekiel being some of the top voted characters from previous polls on my channel. Hershel, well, I think it's going to require so much work. But if he does get a massive boost, who knows? You never know. I do actually use him in Faction Assault because I have him holding the tough weapon that can do hemorrhage. So if he gets a boost, it's just going to be nice in general for Faction Assault for me. Whether he's going to be like raid ready or war ready in any way, it's yet to be seen. We'll have to see. But that's it for this video, guys. If you have any thoughts on these characters, leave them in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.